All right, Chrome DevTools, features you didn't know existed. So we probably all spend at least a little bit of time in Chrome DevTools trying to figure out what's going on with your DOM or a web page, anything like that. I'm Jonathan Belcher. I also go by JB. I'm a JavaScript Electro wizard at Automatic. We get to choose our own titles, so that's why not? So if you spend any time in the Chrome DevTools, you'll see every time you get a new version of Chrome, every time you hit Command-Option-I, inspect, it comes up on this What's New tab. And I'm always, the first thing I do is I do a little, quick, I look through it, and then I usually just close it, which you can do right here. But if you are tired of seeing it, you can also go into your options. And where are my options? Settings. And then inside of here, it's got the show what's new after each update. So you just uncheck that, and then it's not going to show it to you again. If you do want to look at it, but you can also take you can open up the drawer, which is Command-Shift-P, and it opens up a command drawer just like you would get with Atom or Sublime or other editors, and you can type in what's new. So you can say show what's new, and it'll show it. Or you can say what's new, and you can also, it doesn't change it for you. So if I want to get it back, I can say what's new, and it'll show it. It'll show it again. So now that we have access to our drawer, and again, that's Command-Shift-P. I don't know what it is on Windows and Linux, but I want to take a screenshot of the entire page. What I used to do is add an extension to Chrome, and then somebody would add injection to that extension, and then I would get really upset, and then I would delete the extension and find a new one, and then they would inject ads into that extension. Thankfully, Chrome has this taken care of, and so we can do screenshot. And so I'm going to capture full-size screenshot. I click that button, and it takes the screenshot and gives me a screenshot, and it's the whole page, just not above the fold, right? So that's pretty fantastic. Yeah, I mean, all right, I'm done, that's it. Yeah, thank the Chrome DevTools team for that, not me. Okay, so contrast accessibility with the color picker. The color picker in Chrome is amazing, and it's just getting better and better and better. So if you hit inspect, and then you click on any one of your colors, and you open up the contrast. How big am I? Maybe I'll make it a little bigger here. So if you hit the contrast ratio, it'll show you some guides to tell you what a good, so if I'm up here, obviously that's really bad contrast, and if you're below the two lines, you're good for accessibility standards on the contrast. But if you're in the middle, you meet some accessibility standards, just not all of them. So if you can, stay below both lines, and that's fantastic. As we can see here on this color, we may want to take a look at this because we only meet the AA standards, not the AAA standards. We probably could just bring it down a little bit and add more contrast to make it easier to read. And I'm talking about the contrast between the font color and the background. Just me. So next is drag and drop DOM. So if I take a look at if I'm messing around and I want to see what a web page looks like when DOM is in a couple different places, I don't have to write up that code or move things around in the code. I can just grab this DOM. So this is Jetpack, and we're going to move it down 5 or 6 spots. It moves Jetpack all the way down here. So I just grab that DOM, move it around, and you can even take your H2, and I can move that H2 down. And that didn't work because that was the wrong H2. Let's say I want to move the header after all of this. I can just drag and drop that down, and it'll move the header down below. So that's pretty fun. Next is a $0 DOM selection. So if I'm inside of my DOM again, so I'm going to hit inspect, and I'm going to select this Jetpack divider, div, and I'm going to say $0, hit enter, and it's going to plop that DOM element right into my, my console. So then I can do manipulation on that, and I can say $0.class_list if I want to see the class list. Gives me the DOM token list, so I see that I have haiku. So if I do that same thing, .add, and I'm going to add in foo, it added the class foo into Jetpack. But let's say that I want to do something like, let's select, so I'm going to add a new style real quick. Yeah, I'll just do this. So if I grab the P element and I do $0.color, style.color equals red, and I need quotes here. So I changed my color of my paragraph tag to red. Next, changes. I didn't really have a website that, so if I like change this color, if I turn that on, if I turn off this color and I go to the changes tab, and you can get to the changes tab via your Command-Shift-P changes, or you can get it through this little ellipsis here and click changes. It's going to show you changes that you've made to JavaScript files and CSS files. But since all of this CSS and JavaScript is all minified like it should be in production, I had to find a really old website. I did it 12 years ago, guys. Give me some credit. It was 12 years ago. So this is unminified CSS. And so if I start changing things here, you can see that it diffs what you've made changes to. So when you go through and you're making a bunch of changes in the elements panel, and then you forget what you actually did, and then you hit refresh by accident, and all of those changes go away, and you're really upset, go to the changes panel and see what you did, and then maybe if you need to copy things out. The same can be said for the sources panel. So if you make changes to a JavaScript file, you can see those changes in real time in the changes tab. Okay, let's get rid of that. I can't look at it anymore. The next is paint flashing rectangles. This is really good to have when you are looking at DOM and you're trying to see what's causing repaints. So I'm going to open this, and I'm going to Command-Shift-P, and I'm going to say rectangles, show paint flashing rectangles. And as you can see, when I change the size of the viewport, everything repainted because it has to repaint. But if I just scroll, we can see that the only repaints are happening over here. You can see here, as I'm hovering over things, that repaints the entire graph. So that's fantastic. But what if I have something that I think is repainting a lot? And you can see here, this is doing a lot of repainting. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's repainting all of this as I change the image over on the right. So obviously something's wrong, and it's causing a repaint over there, which you might not necessarily want. Dark theme. So I like to have everything in dark theme. Again, you could do this in settings, but I use my drawer a lot, and I want to say dark theme, and I can switch to dark theme, and now I have my dark theme. So it matches my editor. Okay. One thing I'm always surprised to see when I talk to people, they're like, how did you clear your console? And it's just like your terminal. If you hit Command K, it deletes everything out of your terminal. So if I have, things fill up in there quick. So if you just hit Command K, it'll clear it for you. Pretty print. Again, if you're in your sources panel, and I talked about all that minification, the little flower braces down here, if you click those, then it opens everything up for you, and you can actually see what's going on. This is especially useful when you click a JavaScript error, and then it takes you over to your Webpack, thing, and you can't see anything's going on. Unminified, pretty printed Webpack is still tough to read, but it's a lot more easier to read than if it's just been minified down to like 5 lines. Still good in time. Okay, screenshot a single. All right, so if I want to do a single element, so I want to just grab this one haiku, and I hit Command-Shift-P, and I hit screenshot, and I'm going to capture node screenshot. It captured the one node. Now, this is not particularly useful unless you're using margins and margins properly, because as you can see here, it cuts things off. So it's usually just better if you do an OS screenshot if you're trying to grab one particular node. Cookies are now editable. This happened about a year ago, and I didn't realize until I went over and I was trying to set a cookie. So I was having to delete the cookie, re-add the cookie, and because you didn't used to be able to change the value of a cookie. But now, if I want to change the value of something like the country code, I can change this from US to UK. And that will actually change the value of the cookie for that particular website. It doesn't always take. If you can see when I refresh, actually, if I refresh, it will add, it was adding the country code back. Sometimes if your website is adding those cookies and the values don't match, it'll add the thing back. But sometimes it's really useful if you're gating based on cookies or something like that. And then lastly is the console levels. So somebody else talked about info warnings and errors. You can also flag the verbose. If you click verbose right there, what it'll do is it'll tell you when you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing. Like, so this is a violation right here. DOM content loaded handler took 159, let's go with the 504 milliseconds, because that's a lot. And as we can see here, that on DOM content loaded, we're doing a lot of things that we probably shouldn't be doing in DOM content loaded, and we should put those in a request animation frame or do something else to take that off the main thread so that the rest of the page can load up and we're not blocking that main build, unless it absolutely has to happen in DOM content loaded. And that's it. There's lots and lots and lots and lots more that you don't know about Chrome DevTools. So go online, watch some videos, because there's so much awesome stuff that it does.